All right, hello and welcome to episode 59 of the Too Hard to Pass podcast. I'm your co-host, Juan Martinez, and to my left or to my right, he's international, everybody. It's Jacques Slade.
No, it's a lie. That's a lie. That's a lie. I'm not international. I'm a few states over. That's all. I'm just a few states over.
Cross country.
Mid-country? Mid-country?
Yeah.
Cross country makes it sound like I'm on the East Coast.
Yeah,
I'm in Texas, which, Texas is going Texas. So, not much.
Okay. All right. I have no idea what that means, but you go Texas, going Texas. But anyways,
I'm just saying Dallas Cowboys play in this place. So, what do you do?
Yeah. Wait, what do you do? Have you had some good barbecue so far, Jacques? I mean,
I have not. I have had nothing Texas the whole time I've been here. This has been this is not very Texas visit at all. And I'm only here for what is it? I think 40 hours or something like that. So I came last night and then I leave tomorrow. So it's not, nothing fancy.
Got to hit up at least like a Whataburger or one of those.
I did hit Whataburger. I had Whataburger for dinner tonight on my way back from the hotel.
I forgot. I forgot.
It was fine. It was fine.
Yeah. I mean,
fine.
it's not like the most oh my gosh. It's not like Texas people don't have the same passion for Whataburger or wherever Whataburger is as we do for In-N-Out or something. It's not the same level of vitriol if someone dares talk about In-N-Out. We're like, how dare you? How dare you, sir, ma'am, whoever speaks ill of In-N-Out. But if you say something bad about Whataburger, they're like, it's another one of those.
Yeah, I'm very much like, all right. Well, it's cool. Yeah. It was okay. Nothing special. I still prefer Shake Shack. If we're gonna put them all on the list.
If we are gonna put all of those fast food burger joints on a list, Shake Shack is definitely high up there on the hierarchy and everything. I agree with that.
Yeah, definitely. For sure. For me, definitely.
Oh yeah, no, I am right there in agreement with you. I would really have to think about it if I could put it above In-N-Out, but it's definitely in the running. It's definitely in the running. In-N-Out is definitely you have to be here to really have that appreciation for it. If you're not from here, I can understand why people would come here and be, they think, oh, it's not that big of a deal. But for us, it's it was everything. Especially if you were going to high school here and there was an In-N-Out next door, literally across the street from your high school. Not that we did that almost every other day, but it's just one of those things.
The pricing the thing about In-N-Out is the prices are pretty good still too. It's a decent burger. It's not a fantastic burger. Let's not lie to anybody. Mm-hmm. But the prices are decent. I think that's what makes In-N-Out stand out more than anything else. Is okay, it's an okay burger, but it's a great value for the price, and I think that's what people resonate with instead of oh, you're not buying a $15 burger or whatever it is, or $10 burger or whatever you can.
Shout out to Five Guys.
It is. Shout out to Five Guys.
Yeah. Yes, exactly. There's something about Five Guys every time I go inside, and you have to eat with other people, and they're like, "We want to try Five Guys," and I'm like, "Okay, I guess we'll go." And then you see how much they are, and you just want to die inside a little bit. You're like, how much?
Just a little bit on the inside. The fries are great though. I got to give some. The fries are really good. I'll give them the benefit of the doubt in that regard.
Yeah, and speaking in regards to fries, I will say though, In-N-Out not particularly the best, especially within the 2-minute window when you have to eat it. After those 2-3 minutes, when the In-N-Out just starts to get the In-N-Out fries start to get a little bit cooler. Not particularly the best. They are definitely the quickest.
Not my favorite. Not my favorite.
No.
Yeah.
No. you let it slide. You let it slide because the burger's so good. But it's one of those.
And the shakes are
fantastic.
They do really good shakes too.
Shakes are fantastic. But yeah. And also I also have beef with their cheese fries, which they just put a slice of cheese. Have you ever done that? The cheese fries, they just put a slice of cheese on there and you just put it in a microwave or something and then give it to you. You're like, and you charge me $2 for this?
Yep. That's what you wanted. That's what you asked for. So we gave you that.
Yeah, I know. It's not even cheese sauce. It's not, any other kind of cheese. But here's the thing, though. We speak ill of In-N-Out. We are kind of talking trash about In-N-Out. But as soon as somebody comes in from somewhere else and they talk about In-N-Out, you're, how dare you? What is going? This is like a
Yeah,
family thing, right? It's like a
yep,
family thing. We can speak ill, we can criticize our own family, but the moment someone comes in, an interloper comes in and starts talking smack about our family, oh, it's fighting words. you
yeah.
know
It's we can talk about family, but you can't talk about family. That's the way it works.
exactly.
That's the way it always works.
That's the way it always works. I like how we've turned In-N-Out into family.
Yeah, yeah. LA,
Southern Cal.
it's LA, so that just turns it into family.
Definitely, definitely. It's not an Olive Garden situation. The tagline is when you're here, you're family. But
No, no, no,
it's
no, no,
close
no, no,
enough.
no,
It's
no, no,
close
no,
enough.
no,
It's
no.
close enough. No,
I
no.
know, right? Like not that we don't appreciate free breadsticks.
Yeah, free
So
breadsticks, free salads. By the way, some people got. I saw somebody in the comments on the episode got upset with you with the Olive Garden comparison. Where you compared like Beyonce to Olive Garden or oh no. You said like you were going to go to Beyonce and then you were going to go to like the Olive Garden instead. And
yeah,
somebody said, I think somebody said like you're comparing Nikes and Asics and you're saying Beyonce is Nike and Asics is Olive Garden. And someone said that was a wild comparison. And I'm like, well, it's not like Olive Garden isn't great.
yeah. I mean, I get that. Maybe we could have found something else, but we were trying to be funny. And if they couldn't see us being funny, then whatever.
And
Like it
also
was a
Olive Garden
joke.
sponsor us. I'm just saying, I could use one of those free passes for a year. I am down for
Yo,
that.
with
I,
no problems.
yeah, I will. My carbohydrate intake would probably go up like 10,000%, but it's free.
Yeah, it'll push me to work out. The way I
Yeah,
work out more. Yeah,
definitely.
that'll be my
That's for
excuse to
sure.
work out more.
That's for sure. Well, anyways, now that we've talked about LA things, let's continue in that into the actual show, Jacques. The NBA season is kicking off tomorrow. The NBA on NBC is back. Good times, good times.
Let's go. Ba-na-na-na-na.
And the first game, well, there's a game before. I guess it's whatever. OKC, Houston, big deal. Whoop-de-doo. It's ring night for the Thunder. Yay! What's really
Good for
important
them.
is
Good for them.
What's really important is the night game. We got the Warriors and the Lakers, and yeah, buddy, we back. Season's back. Season's back. Luka in the house. Unfortunately,
Luka
LeBron's
in the
dealing with
house.
sciatica, so he's not going to be there for at least a couple weeks. Reporter named Yaron Weitzman, and he's dropping a book that is called "A Hollywood Ending: The Dreams and Drama of the LeBron Lakers." And to me, it's like, wait a minute, is this the final season? Like, we're still not sure if
Mm,
it's actually the final season, but you have to come up with a great title. So, you come up with something like A Hollywood Ending, and I guess it's going to go
yeah.
in depth about LeBron's tenure with the Lakers. And from excerpts from the book so far, it doesn't seem like it's not always the most positive spin on LeBron's time with the Lakers. So I'm sure a lot of our Laker fans, yeah, friends who are fans of the Lakers are definitely going to have some things to say about this book, or at least excerpts from the book,
Yeah.
to fuel the fire. Because I would say that in comparison to our friends, our circle of friends, we're probably like the most supportive of the LeBron era. Like we're not comparing him to like Kobe's and the Magics or anything like that, but we've
Right.
been
Right. Right.
generally been more supportive of the LeBron era
Yeah.
than most.
I'd agree with
And
that. I'd agree with that.
yeah. So, but then there is this excerpt from this book that is talking about Russell Westbrook's time here with the Lakers, and a story that has come out about it was the time when Russ is here, and I guess Rob Pelinka had this great idea to bring in various celebrities from the outside world, from the
Mm-hmm.
tech world, from entertainment, to speak to the different Lakers, to talk about what makes them successful and all that good stuff. And one time they brought in Will Smith to speak to the Lakers, and this was, I guess, coming off the heels of his infamous slap on Chris Rock. At least I think it was like
Mm-hmm.
6 months beforehand. And before that, the Lakers were having their players meeting, and I guess it was not, it wasn't the most like congenial or anything like that. And as soon as they had heard that Will Smith was coming, I guess LeBron bounced from the meeting. He was like, screw this, I'm out of here. And I guess Anthony Davis also walked out too. And Russell Westbrook seemed like he was also on his way out. And Pat Bev had to stop him and be like, hey, man, those guys are champions. Like, they can do what they want. And Russell Westbrook is probably to the extent of like, what? I might be a champion, but I am a multi-time. I'm Russell freaking Westbrook.
Yeah, yeah, yeah.
Why don't I get the same kind of treatment? But
Yeah,
it
I'm
kind of
Hall
goes
of
into this
Fame
back.
worthy. Yeah,
Yeah,
yeah.
exactly. Hall of Fame worthy, right? And it goes into this back and forth between Pat Bev and Russell Westbrook. And to be quite honest, when it comes to anything Pat Bev, I'm going to be on the other side of that. So,
For the
you
most
know,
part, yeah.
yeah, yeah. So, but I guess later on, they managed to get LeBron and Anthony Davis back into the meeting to meet with Will Smith. And LeBron, the way that the book frames it, it doesn't frame it as like LeBron, coming back and is like super, like, interested and is like really like focused on the conversation. It kind of paints him as like somebody who's being a little petty because I guess Will Smith was only supposed to be there for like half an hour. He ends up staying there for an hour, and LeBron is like just peppering Will Smith with questions and all sorts of stuff that is kind of like taking away from like nobody else can ask questions. It seems to be like just
Yeah.
all about LeBron and all that stuff. And I guess from accounts, because this is all like, secondhand accounts from like, people who are there, other players. Obviously, these are all anonymous sources, so no one actually knows who's saying what. I'm guessing
Yeah.
I have some pretty good guesses as to who's talking there, but whatever. And I guess Russ during the whole time is just incredulous. He's like, I can't believe this. LeBron is doing this, blah, blah, blah. He thinks LeBron already has like a streak of like fakeness to him based on like interviews and all that stuff. And I guess there's the picture that came out from that meeting. And you can see LeBron is a little bit, he's smiley. AD's kind of not really feel like he's in the mood to be there, but he kind of goes through it. But Russ seems to have like the scowl on his face, like I hate this.
Yeah.
I don't like
And
this.
it's not a scowl though. Like
Yeah, yeah, yeah.
it's Russ's normal like not smiling face.
Yeah. It's normal resting Russ face, basically.
Yeah, I would say it's a scowl. Like we've seen Russ scowl. And I don't know if this is a scowl. I think that's a little embellishment happening there.
Yeah, totally, totally. But I to me, when these stories come out, my first thought is, well, this was 3 years ago. Why couldn't we? I understand it's a book. You got to sell your book. You got to hold on to these kind of stories and all that stuff, like accumulate everything and then just put it all together for the book and all that. But this would have been a whole lot more interesting if Russell Westbrook since then has played for one, two, three different teams or something, and was just fresh off the or maybe a year after it had happened, like the off season when this took, it would have been a whole lot more interesting. Now it seems just another footnote, and it kind of just again it just paints LeBron in this wildly negative light as someone who is allegedly fake. And I got to say I don't really know or care. Like when it comes to these LeBron controversies, I think about like the levels of controversy when it comes to LeBron stuff. And it's like, yeah, he's weird. He says fake stuff. Like, when someone asks him what's his favorite, like he's say The Godfather is his favorite movie, but when he asks the quote from it, he can't come up with a quote. Like, I just chalk this up to him being a little eccentric and weird. Like, this doesn't rise to the level of like,
Okay.
oh, this dude went to jail, or this dude did something terrible, or he's like,
Oh,
a
right, right, right,
homewrecker.
right. Of course. Of
No,
course
that's what
not.
I'm
Yeah,
saying
yeah.
is like, when I hear these LeBron controversies, like the decision is the worst thing he's ever done. And on the level of like other bad things athletes have done all throughout the entire history of athletes, kind of low on the poll, kind of low on like the levels of atrocities, So when I think about
Yeah.
LeBron's, it just strikes me as like annoying more than anything else. It's just like annoying, pestery kind of like, little things. It makes you kind of like, really, LeBron, you got to go do that. But it's not like, oh God, what? He did what? Like it's that kind of, I don't ever have those kinds of reactions when I think about LeBron.
Yeah, like I don't ever see him as like none of it is that serious.
Exactly. That's actually very
But
the best way to put it.
yeah, none of them are that serious. But like it almost like it goes to see how much him or the people around him try to control the narrative in and
Sure.
around him.
Mm-hmm.
Which is disappointing. I would say it's disappointing. Like you don't have to come on. Like the article points out him coming on doing a press release, or I mean a press doing press and having the book autobiography of Malcolm X.
All
like,
right.
like you
Yeah.
don't have to do that kind of stuff, you know what I mean?
Mm-hmm.
Like
Mm-hmm.
that's not the stuff. Like that is like you trying to look and be and sound a way that you're not, and like but nobody's asking you to be that.
Yeah.
kind of thing. You know what I mean? So
Yeah.
like that's the part too. Like Godfather doesn't have to be your favorite movie. Like that's such a rapper thing to say, kind of thing. You know what I mean?
Yeah. Right.
It's very like rapper, but like
It's like having
everybody,
Scarface poster on the wall or something like that,
yeah,
and
like that's
not even
very
watching the
like,
movie or something, you know?
yeah, like I've never seen Scarface, I've never seen Godfather, and like I've never seen
Mm.
any of that stuff, and that's
Mhm.
okay. And
But
I was a
you're not gonna
former,
say you did. You're not gonna say you did though.
yeah, yeah, and I'm not a former rap, and I'm a former rapper, so like you know I have the rap bona fides, so to speak,
Sure.
but like it
Mhm.
doesn't, like that stuff doesn't matter to me. So it's like I just I wish the people around him were able, if they're going to like curate his image and do those sort of things, like they have to be able to do it in a way that feels authentic to him. I mean, but it's just, like at this point, honestly, it doesn't even matter. He's like about to retire, and
Yeah.
like I've tried to keep myself insulated from a lot of these things about
Yeah.
LeBron and just like
Mhm.
focus on his basketball play.
Mhm.
This one just obviously hopped out, and it became a thing that we're all talking about.
Right.
Um, Especially after that Hennessy debacle with the decision to,
Yeah.
ooh, um, but yeah, I try to keep myself insulated from that and just focus on what he does on the court, because that, like, to me, that's what's really most important. As you know, as a Laker fan,
Yeah.
that's where his value lies for me.
Yeah.
But I also understand why a lot of Lakers fans are like, "Nah, that ain't my guy."
Yeah.
Like,
Mhm.
I hope the Lakers win,
Yeah.
but he ain't my guy, which
Right.
is, you know, which is kind of goes to all the things that, you know, we talk about, like will LeBron get a statue outside of Staples dot art crypto? Will, like, you know, is he that type of, does he have that sort of lore with the Lakers? And I I'm not sure that he will. Like, yeah, will retire his jersey,
Yeah.
but he's not. I highly doubt that he gets a statue,
Yeah.
um, unless it's something curated as part of his image. Like, oh, as part
Right.
of my deal to sign on with the Lakers for the next 5 years or whatever it is. I want a statue outside, which is like, which feels dirty. It feels like dirty. I don't know.
Right.
Like, I don't force it. Like, you can get it because the people love you and the people want, you know, that's what the people want, not because you're trying to maintain this image.
It's
But
weird
anyway.
because we almost have like this image. Well, it's weird when you compare like LeBron to Kevin Durant. KD clearly does not give an F about anywhere he go. Like he doesn't care if his jersey's retired anywhere. He doesn't care about having a statue anywhere. I think he was asked about, do you miss anything about like the people, you know, when you go back to OKC, do you miss the people who are there who are working at it's like no. And I'm like, it'd be interesting if LeBron had the same kind of attitude as KD, which is weird because we want, like, you know, we want the honesty, we want all of the sincerity and all that stuff. But then when someone
Hmm.
like KD gives it to you, it's like, oh, that sucks too. So like there has to be this happy medium. There has to be this medium between LeBron's fakeness, allegedly, or just, you know, like his desire to craft this image of the perfect, you know, athlete dad, whatever you want to call it, and KD's
Yeah.
I don't care. There has to be
Like,
that happy
KD
medium
just
there
wants to play
somewhere.
basketball. Like, I feel
Yeah, he's
like
a hooper.
Kevin Durant just wants to play basketball. That's it. That's
Mhm,
all he's really
mhm.
concerned about. That's all he wants to do is ball.
It seems like
Everything
when he's done,
else
he's out,
is
you know?
extra. Yeah,
Yeah,
everything else is extra. Like,
yeah,
pay me to do the thing that I love, which is play basketball. And LeBron wants to be liked. He wants people to admire him like that. I feel like that's kind of where, or that's the way his team has curated an image for him. And I just don't know. Like, it doesn't feel genuine, doesn't feel real to
and
me.
that's why you see him go on Kai Cenat's stream, and you wonder, like, I feel like he's older, that he's probably like 10, 15 years older than literally everybody else on that stream, and it's one of those, it's like when you go to, you know, a family gathering and you end up in, like, in the kids' room, and you just happen to, like, mosey on, and everyone's like, "Uncle," or, like, whatever, and you're like, "Oh, what do you know? You're like,
Yeah.
maybe I shouldn't be in here. I'm gonna go get my
I mean,
drink.
like, I don't mind the stream stuff as much just because like he's a celebrity and that's kind of where I mean, it's the same thing for Kevin Durant. I mean, no, not Kevin Durant, Kevin Hart. Kevin
Yeah,
Hart's, I
sure.
think, either the same age or older than LeBron.
Yeah.
So, I think it's just more of like those are celebrities and Kai Cenat's technically a celebrity in that
Oh,
sense.
sure.
And so I think, it's just to connect with that sort of celebrity once once you're kind of in that circle, it's like, oh, okay, everybody kind of talks to each other. So I get that part of it. It'd be different if he was hanging with Kai Cenat like all the time, then that's something different.
Probably,
But
yeah.
yeah, I don't know. I don't mind the Kai Cenat stuff as much, all the streaming stuff and stuff like that. I don't mind that as much. If anything, it reveals more of like a real part of LeBron when he's like, okay, so what's that? What's OBS? Like, what do you do with that? You know what I
He
mean?
asked
So
about what's
like,
OBS. That's amazing.
yeah. So like, you get that kind of like, oh, okay, LeBron, he's insulated from a lot of this, but this is how. But Kai Cenat is like one of the, obviously one of the biggest streamers in the world, and LeBron don't know how it works, and LeBron's asking questions. Oh, okay, all right, cool.
Yeah. Also, shout out to Kai Cenat. I think I guess he was the Twitch. He asked the Twitch CEO who would be on the Twitch Mount Rushmore, and I guess he said that Kai would be on there. Which,
He said Kai
yeah,
would not be on there.
no, he. Oh, did he say not? I thought
Not
he said
yeah.
that he would be on there.
No, he said he would not,
Oh,
which was a
wow.
which was a whole different discussion
Oh,
of
interesting.
yeah. But we won't get into that. But yeah, it was
Kai should
it was
probably
a
on that. He should be on there, considering where he is in the hierarchy right now in terms of like
and
popularity
what
and
he's done
everything.
for that platform. That's a whole different
Exactly.
conversation about creatives and how companies use creatives
Hmm.
only when they need them.
Yeah. Nope. Nope. Oh, yeah. No, I did not know that. I thought I could have sworn I must have misread that headline. Oops. Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah. That's not cool. That's not cool. He should be on that Rushmore considering his impact and everything. But that's a
Yeah.
story for another time. Well, maybe we'll discuss that in a future, episode. Just maybe go into that a little bit more detail
When we
if it
start
warrants it.
streaming.
Yeah.
Yeah. When we start streaming.
Start streaming. Oh my God. I don't know if I can handle actually live. Well, anyways, moving on to our next thing though, Jacques, is it is something that is getting some people talking, not in the most positive light. With LeBron starting, what is it, like his 23rd season, Cooper Flagg is starting his first season in the NBA. Yep. I'm not exactly sure when the Dallas Mavericks are playing, but there's a lot of hype. Topps just released like their first NBA card products with Cooper Flagg, and I'm sure that's going to go for $1 billion. So be on
Yeah.
the lookout for that kind of stuff if you want to get rich quick, if you pull that one of one or something like that. But something that is not a one of one is going to be Cooper Flagg's Hezi Low 2 PE, and it's going to be available actually tomorrow. Well, oh no, the 22nd actually. Was it October 22nd is actually when it's going to drop?
Oh, okay.
Yeah.
Wednesday.
Yeah, but it's got a lot of yeah, I like the way it looks. It's definitely, I guess it's like an homage to his main upbringing. It's got like that slightly off white, but also like hints of green all throughout the bottom. It kind of actually reminds me less of like if you just look at the colors, it reminds me less of a New Balance basketball shoe and more of a New Balance 990. Like one of those made in USA kind of pairs. It looks like a color scheme that
Yeah.
would like a color
Yeah.
blocking, from the color blocking to the color scheme, just the way that everything is set up. It reminds me of if someone had said this is like the Cooper Flagg New Balance 99 whatever, PE, it would make sense to me. So to put it on a basketball shoe and kind of do it successfully, I think, is actually pretty cool. However, there has been some chatter on the internets, and some people are declaring this the new Chef Curry's, which is for people who do not remember. I guess it's been, what is it, nearly a decade now since then. There was
Yeah.
a Under
Jeez, wow.
Armour. Yeah, I know. Whoa. There was a I just thought about I just realized that too. Because I was at this trip. Were you there? It was actually also in Texas, where Under Armour flew us out to Texas. I guess it was a Champ Sports store opening. And that's where they also like debuted the Chef Curry sneaker, along with like the
Okay.
championship colorways and all that stuff. But yeah, when I first saw those shoes, I was like, oh, that's pretty plain. not really stand out, doesn't really do anything for me, but it's just the all white colorway of the Curry 2 lows. However, like I said, if you were not there during that time, you just do not remember just the fervor that the internet had for these shoes.
Yeah.
It was everywhere. Everybody was just roasting it. It coincided with the rise of the meme, the who what are those? That it was
Yeah.
around that
Yep.
time too. So everybody was just roasting these Chef Curry too, like these Chef Curries. It was just, you would think it was the ugliest pair of sneakers ever made. I would say it was
Yeah.
it was pretty average. It wasn't, like I said, it wasn't the greatest shoe. It wasn't the worst shoe. It was like just an in between. Curry 2 lows, not
Yeah.
really, it wasn't
Definitely
like,
wasn't as bad as people made it out to be.
yeah.
But once the internet gets a hold of something,
Yeah,
they cook. So
and they
the
cook.
internet is the internet is undefeated.
When it comes to that stuff, yeah. So it was definitely a time there. I mean, Under Armour and Steph, they tried to mitigate it by kind of embracing it a little bit, but
Yeah.
the damage was done. And you could argue that it has really affected the way that Under Armour and Curry have operated since. It's really affected
How
their
so? What do you
business.
mean?
I mean, by like the perception, right? Like ever since then, people just like, remember when the Curry one first came out, people were just so excited for the Currys to Steph to
Yes.
finally get a signature shoe. And I remember the excitement for the first Curry shoe. Like I remember there was some colorways selling out, like the first debut, the colorways, the All Stars and all that stuff was actually selling out. And it was doing solid numbers. It wasn't like, the greatest numbers. It wasn't
Yeah.
doing
Yeah.
Nike numbers or anything like that. But for Under Armour, it was definitely doing numbers that they never probably expected when they signed Steph.
Yep.
It was like it coincided with the rise of Steph, the 3-point shot and everything during that time. So it was just perfect timing. However, through no fault of their own, I mean, I guess you could argue that the design of the Curry 2 and the color and all that stuff really kind of was a fumble in that way, but it was unintentional. It's not like they were going out of their way to create like a meme worthy shoe.
Right. Yeah. No, not at all. Not at all.
But ever since then, people have just kind of had this perception of the Curry, the Curry line. For the longest time, it was just like, oh, it's not the greatest sneakers. Oh, if you wear those, you're a lame or something like that. For me, it's kind of taken like a lot of the shine out of it. For me, like personally, I don't care. Like, if it was a good particular year for Steph, great. If it wasn't, oh well. But it seems like since then they've been kind of trying to dig out of that hole, and I feel like they kind of have. They got Curry
Yeah.
brand, and that seems to be doing well. I mean, they got the Aaron Fox on there, so that seems to be doing well for them. So I feel like they've kind of gotten out of that hole, but it took them. I feel like it took them a while to kind of get out of that, to dig out of that hole that they, again, not that
Yeah.
they did that on their, not that it
That
was
they
intentional or anything like
unintentionally
that.
dug for
Yeah,
themselves. Yeah. Yeah.
yeah. So
It's interesting. It shows how, like, if enough people on the internet start talking about it, it can change public perception. And I feel like that's really what
yeah,
happened. It was enough people that got a hold of them, and enough jokes that got a hold of them, that it like escaped the sneaker echo chamber and made it into into gen pop, so to speak. And that
yeah,
kind of helps shape how people look at it, young and old. But I think you're also right in the way that it's been changed. Like, it's changed. They've done some really great work. They've done some really great designs, like some really great performance. The tech is always on point. So they've done a lot with the line to really change that perception and to shape it in a new way. But I don't, like, I'm looking now, I have the Cooper's New Balance on my phone. Like, I don't see that connection. I think this is just the
I
internet
feel like
trying to make it a thing, as opposed to it actually being like a thing. It's just, I mean, it looks like a New Balance, what I would expect a New Balance basketball shoe, honestly, to look like. Like, it's
yeah.
not, it's very outside of like the 550s. Like, unless it's a 550, this is kind of like, oh yeah, that's a New Balance basketball shoe. That makes sense.
Yeah,
Kind of,
someone
at
called it
least in
like
my opinion.
yeah, like someone called it like the lawnmower 11s or something like that. I'm like, I feel like we're trying here. Like we've heard those jokes before,
Yeah.
right? It feels like an attempt to try to spark something that's not really there. And also Cooper Flagg, for all of the hype, he's not Steph Curry level. Like he's not there
Right.
yet. So I feel like a combination of also Steph being where he was at the time contributed to the roasting of the shoe. Like if this was like if Cooper Flag was at the time already like a two-time champion or something like that, already had, multiple accolades, and then drop a shoe like this, and then the internet caught it, then we could understand like, the roasting and all that stuff. But for right now, he's a rookie, a lot of hype. A lot of people are still, we don't know how he's going to turn out. So I feel like doing this right now when he hasn't even done anything in the league is just kind of unfair. So I feel like this is more like, hey, let's wait and see what happens. Let's wait if he gets a signature shoe. Let's see if he
Yeah.
gets a New Balance signature shoe and it comes out and it's got, like I said, the lawnmower vibes. The dad
Yeah.
on the lawnmower vibes. Like, so wait until then. For now, let's let the kid do what he does. And
Yeah,
yeah,
and
no,
it's
and I think
just
they're
a
fine.
PE. Yeah,
It's just a
it's just
PE.
a
Yeah.
PE. Like,
Yeah.
let's calm down, people.
Let's calm
Yeah,
down. Yeah.
yeah, it's
All right.
just a PE.
Yeah, yeah,
Give the boy,
totally,
give the
totally.
kid a break.
Yeah, absolutely. All right, so moving on to the next thing that I wanted to talk about. This is actually courtesy of a friend of the show, friend of ours, G-Roc from the Shoe Game. He posted a thing, basically a post on Instagram, and I guess he was in Shanghai. Shout out to G-Roc, doing big things over there, I guess, man.
Yeah,
Like, hey,
international,
international,
homie.
the real international.
Yeah, yeah, right. Yeah, for sure.
But yeah, I guess he was in Shanghai and he was posting pictures of this Adidas, I guess presentation called the Power of Three, and he showed off a lot of different Adidas sneakers that, man, I gotta say, not what I would expect. Definitely a different look
Yeah.
for Adidas. I mean, it
Yeah,
is
the
quite
interesting thing to me is like the design language. Like it feels futuristic. It feels like the next thing for Adidas. But it also doesn't feel like foreign to Adidas. It feels like a natural sort of evolution of like the way Adidas design language has been going, especially in the basketball world, what we've seen with Anthony Edwards, what we've seen with James Harden.
hmm
The things they look like a natural evolution. I like it. I like that they're taking some risk and pushing forward on what design can be and what design can look like. So I'm all for it. Like, kudos to the I don't know if it's just like Adidas China or if this is going to be a whole US thing, but
right.
I'm all for it.
Right. So according to a G-Roc's post, it says one pair is said to be limited to only 200, and it's not confirmed if some of these models will even drop in 2026. So this feels like a very forward-thinking kind of presentation where maybe some of these never actually release, but this is what we're thinking.
Mhm.
This is what we're hoping, expecting what Adidas will look like in the future. And I gotta say, you're right. It's impressive to me. And I think the thing that really stands out to me personally is that there is minimal for some of these. There's some of these do have like prominent three stripes branding, but a lot of these sneakers, especially the ones that he features at the front, don't have a lot of three stripes branding. I mean, there's like the low cut, like what is it, like a more like a chunky dad shoe kind of vibe thing. Like on the heel, there's the three stripes. On the tongue, there's the three stripes. But on the upper, not a three stripe shoe. Like I feel,
Yeah.
and it's kind of impressive because I've always heard, I don't know if I actually heard this, like whenever, when you do these like, trips with Adidas, they'll talk about like the history of the three stripes and all that stuff and how important it is to them. And I could have sworn, and like I said, this could be hearsay or if this is just something I read for a long time ago, but I could have sworn it's always important to them that the three stripes is always prominently featured on the shoe. Like it has to be part of the design. It has to be just there, visible. And when you
Yeah.
look at these and you look at the Anthony Edwards, you look at the James Harden shoes, it seems like they're kind of departing from that philosophy. And I gotta
Yep.
say, the results, I believe, could be huge for them. Like it really will open them up to a different sort of consumer who maybe doesn't look at Adidas seriously because they're an athletic brand or whatever, right? If they're
Mhm.
just looking for like a lifestyle shoe, if they're just looking for something that doesn't clash. Sometimes when you buy like these Adidas's or Nikes, it will clash with some of the stuff that you have, the gear that you have, right? And maybe that's kind of a hindrance. But when it comes to some of these trainers, like I said, with minimal branding, they're like on the tongue, but they're barely noticeable, or they're on the
Yep.
heel, but I said barely noticeable. I feel that that can open them up to a lot of different avenues that maybe that weren't available to them previously.
Yeah, kind of it helps almost uh shake the preconceived notions about what an Adidas sneaker can be If you like, you minimize that branding on the sides and just keep it small, like on the tongue or on the heel, it allows you really to, to what I was saying earlier, introduce a new design language to what an Adidas shoe can or cannot be, all but while staying within the confines of the brand. So even if these are just like EQT, where it's like, the mountain logo, or if it's the full 3 stripes, like minimizing that and allowing it to kind of breathe on its own, letting the design do the talking, as opposed to it being like the brand be the leader of the conversation. I think that's a great idea. And, I think it's gonna hopefully bear fruit in a way that Adidas can really push that design direction more, and we see more of that kind of standing out. I mean, it's we say it, even with Nike sometimes, like what can we make
Exactly.
outside of that swoosh? How do we use that? How can we use the swoosh or just the Nike branding in a different way so that it just doesn't scream Nike every single time?
And to be fair, there are definitely a lot of sneakers here in the presentation that do have the 3 stripes branding, but
Yep.
they're doing it in a different way. I feel like there's this one, I guess it's like a video clip where like steam is coming out of, like it's around the shoe, and the midsole seems to be like this 3D printed thing that seems to be detachable or something like that. Like, who knows if these sneakers will ever actually, hit hit the public, but I like that this is what they're thinking about. I like that this is something to look forward to. And, none of it's not all of it is going to hit, obviously. Some of this is going to be maybe some of them are going to be all the way out there that, it's going to be tough to really, buy these kinds of sneakers. But at the same time, I like that this is where they are thinking, instead of how can we just coast off the success of the Sambas or the Superstars
Yeah,
or
yeah,
even the
yeah.
Kobe's, right? Like, I like that this is where they're thinking for the future. It might not always hit, but I like that this is the direction that they're taking.
Yeah, it's exciting. I mean, Adidas is doing some really exciting stuff. Like, even like within the golf space, you can see them really experimenting and trying different things that you wouldn't necessarily associate with the sport that they're in, but they're willing to try some things, which is important because you don't get people trying anymore. Like, they do what's
Yeah,
safe, and this is how no risk, no reward kind of thing. So
totally. Totally. All right. Well, that was that. Hopefully we can get G-Roc on the show at some point. Like I
yeah,
said,
that'd be
he's
dope.
international.
International G.
But we would love to talk to G-Roc about these kinds of things, talk about like his international adventures in the sneaker world and all that. And unfortunately for us, we are typically limited here to stateside. So it'd be nice to get a
Yep, that's it.
international perspective on these things.
He's gonna love that. He's gonna love that.
Yeah, but hey, G-Roc's always been a great guy, man. Like, every time I've ever had a chance to
Always.
meet up and link up with him, talk to him, man, just always just one of the most sincere, just thoughtful dudes in the world.
Solid. Yep.
Like, just and not just in sneakers, just a really great dude. But like, when it comes to, like, he thinks about sneakers in a totally different perspective than the typical blogger. He just thinks about it like big picture wise. Like, his
Yeah.
mind is definitely like thinking. It's kind of like with this presentation. Like, I feel like this is like a perfect encapsulation of like how G-Roc thinks about sneakers, where he's always thinking ahead. He's not always like, obviously there's always a look back to the past and everything, but when it comes to him, he's always thinking about the next thing. And when the stuff he posts on the shoe game is always just, it's not always just limited to what's hot right now. He's always thinking about
So
like
what?
what
Yeah.
could be great in the future. So
What could be
yeah,
great. Yeah.
yeah.
That's great. That's a great way to put it. Shout out to G-Roc.
Shout out G-Roc. Yeah, totally. All right. Well, this has been a good show, Jacques. And I feel like this is a good time for us to bring up something that I thought was pretty hilarious. As some people already know, I do some part-time work with the fine folks at Soul Retriever, and from time to time, I do lists and articles and all that stuff. That hey, basically the goal is to get the people talking and get the people whatever hyped up or whatever and all that stuff. Just get people clicking and all that whatever's.
Uh-huh.
So this past week, I wrote a piece that was it's an easy article to write. Let's be honest, it's an easy thing to write. It's not the most original idea in the world, but it hasn't been covered on the site, so I figured I'd do it. It's basically a list of the top 10 Bred Air Jordans.
Mm-hmm.
Now, I took it to say now, people could just write like, oh, what's your favorite 10, right? So I put it in the context of the most memorable ones in relation to Michael Jordan actually wearing these shoes on the court. So
Got
it
it.
wasn't just these are the best Bred Air Jordans or these are my favorite Bred Air Jordans. These are the ones that really struck a memory, like really were really important to his career. So
Okay.
the first couple ones, like the ones that were on the list, he didn't even wear. So it doesn't even count. Like, who cares? Like, he never wore a black and red Air Jordan 2. No one cares. Like, he's just, that just gets moved to the bottom of the list. So whatever. So we move on to that. And then we move on to the ones where he did wear them. For example, Air Jordan 13. Obviously, since I'm writing that list, it's going to be as low as I possibly can put it. I couldn't put it at the bottom. I would have put it in the negative area. But unfortunately, I would also like to keep this job, so I had to put it somewhere that is a little bit more,
A little bit of
diplomatic.
haterism. We
Yeah,
got
yeah,
it.
yeah.
Haterism.
Absolutely. I minimized the hateration on that particular entry. So you should be proud of me, Jacques. I just want to say you should be.
I don't know if proud's the word I would use, but I understand what you're saying.
Anyways, so basically the top 5 ended up being the Air Jordan 11 at number 5. Oh no, the Air Jordan 1 at number 5, the Air Jordan 11 Bred at number 4, the 11. So and then that is the what was it? I forget. Oh no, the flu games were number 3. The last shot was 2, and the Air Jordan 4 Bred was number 1.
Okay.
People were mad on the Soul Retriever socials. They were talking about like the playoff 11s, the Bred 11 should be number 1, or the Bred 1 should be number 1, yada yada yada, all that stuff. And it took like, I was just scrolling through it, and I was like, and some people were saying, who wrote this list? How dare this person doesn't know what they're talking about. They don't know sneakers and all that. And you know what it did for me, Jacques? It just kind of brought me back to a simpler time when I was running Kicks on Fire. And on the daily, I was looking for ways to annoy the audience. And to find ways to kind of poke the bear, shall we say, by giving them a different perspective on sneakers. And they didn't like that. So to write a list like that once again just got me in the feels. It kind of got me nostalgic for the old days, man. Like, it just made me feel
as
like,
it should. As it should.
These people hate me.
They don't hate you. They don't hate you.
It shouldn't be that serious, people. Come on, what are we talking about? It's sneakers. What are we doing here? But yeah, some people were really in their feelings about how I was wrong for putting the 11s at number 4 or 5 or whatever. And they just really were upset about it. And I just gotta say, and my justification for is that was the playoff 4, the Bred 4s were the ones where he made the shot, the first one against Cleveland, where he does that memorable pose. You can see the sneakers right there, and you could and I make the argument on the list, if that shot doesn't go in, the Bulls get eliminated from the playoffs. Does that mean like the Jordan the legacy doesn't even start? Does he get labeled as a choker? Does he get labeled as a ball hog? Does he get, well, I think it already was starting during that time because he hadn't won a championship then. So does it just consume MJ to the point where he he just doesn't doesn't win championships or all that stuff. So that shot is a critical moment in his career, in his legacy. And he happened to be wearing those 4s. And, they're not for nothing. Those are dope looking shoes. I could argue they're better than 11s. Like, some people would say that, and I would. Well, I'm not going to say that, but I could make the argument that they could. So
yeah, I could see that. I think 2 on are all, well, outside of like the top 5, 2 through 5, like 5 through 10 is negotiable.
Sure.
I think not having the 1s at 1 is a disservice to the 1. I think that's the best way to put that. I feel like the 1 has to be 1. Like, the 1 has to be 1. whether you put the 4 at 2, the 11 at 2, the last shot at 2, however you decide those, I think I'm okay with. You can argue with me about the positioning of everything after that,
Right.
but not having the 1 at 1, that's probably the most egregious thing that you did. I think in regards to that list, but you know, I understand why you put the 4.
Right.
I just think that culture-wise,
Of
community-wise,
course. Yeah.
lore-wise, the mythology around the Jordan universe, you have to put the 1 at 1. But
Fair.
I get it. It was a great play. You got people engaged, and that's the way you do it. Like, that is the way you get people excited, get people talking. You got the people talking.
Yep, that's how we do it. That's how we do it sometimes around here. So, anyways, in honor of that, for our Sneaker Mount Rushmore Plus today, we're just gonna do Bred Air Jordans. Just kind of just
Okay.
have fun with it. So, yeah, no, let's knock this out pretty quick. Who started last week? Was it you or was it me?
I don't remember.
I don't know. Oh, my one caveat though for this one though. I will say, and I did, and we put this on there, and everybody, well, I guess the guys at Solar Retriever also agreed with this. They didn't put the 6 on there because it's infrared. It's not called black threads or whatever, but
That's a technicality.
that's a technicality, but we're gonna go with that. That's why we did. That was the caveat. Is like they didn't put it on
Okay.
there, so I was like, all right, cool. So I get like that's our one like thing for this one is like we can't put the 6 on here because it's technically infrared.
Okay. All right.
So
I'm good with
all right.
that.
So I guess like who went first last week? Was it you or me? Oh,
I
I
probably
think
did. You can go first. You can go
okay,
first.
I'll
You
go
go
first.
first.
All right, cool. So for my first pick, I'm gonna go with the Air Jordan 1 Bred.
Wow. Wow. After all that, this guy. But it's cool because it's a snake draft, so I
It's
get
a snake
2.
draft. You have to pick who
So
wins. This is a competition of
right.
who actually has the best. By the way, shout out to everybody who voted on that music one. I can't believe I lost. I can't. I honestly
Honestly,
am kind of.
honestly, it's Michael Jackson.
Yeah. Fair.
Bearing it down.
Fair.
So then I'm gonna go obviously with the Air Jordan 11 Bred,
Mm-hmm.
black and red, the
Yeah.
playoffs, so to speak.
Playoffs.
Arguably could, if there was a fight for number 1, the 11 is the only other one that could
That's what the
take
internet would
that
have you believe.
position. Could technically take that position is that
Sure.
one.
Mm-hmm.
Just from, the lore of it all.
Yep. Mm-hmm.
And then for the next one, see, now this is when it gets hard. This is when it
Yeah.
gets hard.
This is when it gets interesting.
Yeah. So I'm going to go with the Air Jordan 4 black and red. I think you have to go with that one. So, cause yeah, that's my second pick.
Can't knock it. I mean, that was my number 1 on the list, so I'm not mad at it. You really thought I was gonna go for that one, didn't you? After all
I
that.
thought you were. Yeah, but it was great. It was a great job trolling the audience.
Yeah. All right. So, since you went with that, damn, I think for my next one, I'm going to go with the flu games, the Air Jordan 12 flu games.
Interesting. Okay.
Yeah.
Okay.
I mean, I love in general. I just love 12s anyway, so that's just my bias pick. Just in general, I love 12s, and flu games are definitely one of my favorite sneakers of all time. Also just the memory of the flu games, just in general. So definitely had to
not
go
the choice
with that.
I would have made, but okay.
Yeah. For my next one though, this is where it gets tough for me because at this point it's just a free for all. Like the top 4 I feel like those are like the top 4 is pretty established. I mean,
Okay.
I went with the last shot for number 2 just because again, memories and just in general, just that moment, the shoes and all that stuff. But I don't know if I can go for that with for my Rushmore though. So with that in mind, I'm gonna go with the 8, the Air Jordan 8 black and red. The playoff
Wow.
colorway. He wore that in the finals, and I'm sure that was in a Bugs Bunny commercial, pop culture wise. So I
Yeah.
guess that would be also be ranked up pretty up there too. So I'm gonna go with the Air Jordan 8. So yeah,
Okay. So then I get my last two, right? Yeah. So the 13s, obviously,
13s.
being
I'm
one
sorry,
of the most comfortable Jordans of that first 14,
that's a shame.
despite what you think about them, and their fantastic design. They also make a wonderful golf shoe. Just putting that out there. And then you got to follow that up with the Last Shot 14s.
Yeah,
Also a wonderful conversion to a golf shoe, since we're on a trend here. Um, the Ferrari inspiration, Lamborghini, Ferrari, whatever it is, inspiration, Ferrari. It's just another beautiful, beautiful shoe that makes a great golf shoe. So yeah, those are my last two. That's my list. The 11, the 4, the 13, and the 14. Oh, then I
yeah.
have one more after you
Well,
give
this
me.
got one more. Yeah, yeah, yeah.
Yeah.
So for my next one, like I said, this is when it kind of gets interesting because the ones that I ranked that were not included on the list, I just personally didn't care for. So I wasn't even going to pick any of those. I will say though, I do have a newfound respect for the Air Jordan 17. There's a black and red pair that came out. It wasn't part of the original colorways. It came out like later
Mm-hmm.
on, but I do like the way that it looks. It's kind of like a take on it's like a different way of like looking at the copper 17s. It's just basically black and then the heel is red. So I feel like if MJ was still playing for a team that, had red on it, because he
Yeah,
played
yeah,
for the
yeah. That
Wizards,
makes
I feel
sense.
like this
Yeah.
would have been something that he would have obviously worn. So I
Mm-hmm.
feel like I gotta kind of go with that. Now for my last one though, I feel like I have to go with something that he, that's post his playing days out of just respect, right? Because,
Okay.
I'm not one
I
of those
respect
who
that.
I don't care about like any Jordans after 14 or whatever, blah, blah, blah. I'm not one of
Yeah,
those.
yeah, yeah.
Like, I feel like I kind of have to like represent for that. That being said, I'm not gonna pick something crazy like the Air Jordan 2010 or something like that with the window, the D Wade
With
picture,
the
and all that stuff.
window, bro,
No,
don't
wait,
don't don't
no.
hate on the window.
No.
Don't hate on the
Are you
window.
gonna be that person who's gonna be like, yo, man, those are my
No, I hate the window. I hated the window. I hated the window.
Can,
Absolutely hated the window.
I think did we make this joke on a hard pass at some point where someday, whether it's 10 years from now or 20 years from now, when Jordan finally decides to retro those, somebody who was a kid during that time is gonna say, "Yo, man, those are my Jordans, man. Like, don't hate
Yep.
on those, man. I was like a supporter of those, man. Don't be hating on those, right?"
Yeah.
Like, I feel like
God
that's
bless
gonna
him.
happen. If the Kobe 2 can have supporters, the Air Jordan 2010 can have supporters, you know?
God bless him. God bless him.
So for my post Jordan playing days pick, I feel like I got to go with the Air Jordan. Gosh, was it the 28? The boot,
Okay.
like the shroud. There was a black and red pair that was there. I think it was more like black, white, and red, but I feel like it was mostly black and red with like hints of white. And I think Ray Allen may have worn it at some point during when he was with the Miami Heat. So I think I'm gonna go with that one for
Okay.
my
That's a good choice
yeah,
for like
yeah.
the wild card. Okay.
Yeah, I
For
think that
my
should be like a
wild,
wild card, like yeah, like the way out, like
yeah,
pass, yeah, for that one. So what would be yours?
my wild card is going to be the 31.
Ah,
That's when they had like a
oh yes, I
band
remember that one.
31 is like a weave or a Jordan weave or whatever, fly weave or
Yeah,
whatever
yeah,
they
yeah.
called it, like that knit upper. Yeah,
Yeah.
I think that one stands out. Like that one still kind of stands out in my head. That was just like a really cool design with the big Nike swoosh and everything. So yeah, different. It was definitely a different sort of look for a Jordan sneaker. So yeah, I think that's a good list. That's a good list.
Yeah, no,
Yeah.
it's a good list. A good list. Also, I will tell this story because when else are we ever going to talk about the Air Jordan 31? Do you remember when you had that sneaker? Do you
I think it
remember what you had a
was it in
pair? You had a pair.
Vegas?
Yes, in Vegas. So here's the thing. You were there for a Jordan event and I was there for an Adidas event. I don't know if you remembered, but there was basically like a whole big old thing about like where there was an Adidas, like they were doing a whole bunch of like stuff with high school kids and also releasing like
Oh
Adidas
yeah, that's
basketball,
right. Yeah, yeah, yeah,
like with
yeah.
James Harden, D Rose. I think I was there with Adidas and you were there with Jordan for the launch of the 31. And I remember hitting you up and being like, "Hey man, can I go get your, to cover for the website, to cover for Kicks on Fire. I
Yep.
was like, yo, man, can I just run over to your hotel? Because I would think I was at the Cosmo, I think, like in the big old like metro, like that big old like Autobot City kind of looking area hotels and all that
Yeah,
stuff.
yeah.
And I think you were, gosh, I don't even remember.
I
It could
don't
have been
remember
like the
what hotel we
Venetian
were
or
at.
whatever. But
Yeah.
I remember like in the morning running out of my hotel, like hopping on a cab, or I don't even think they had Ubers then. I just like went to your hotel, grabbed it, and like took pictures at the pool at the Wynn or Venetian or whatever, and like gave it back
Yeah,
to
yeah, yeah.
you, all that
Yep.
stuff.
Yeah.
So I could get it up on the website because we were invited. I don't know why. I don't know why Kicks on Fire wasn't invited to that one, but I was invited to an Adidas thing. But whatever. Anyways, I did my job. that that was
Whatever.
the hustle. That was the dedication. I would go above
Yep.
and beyond. So,
We
and show
had
you
to.
guys.
We had to. Yeah,
I had
and
to.
we still have to. To be honest, we still have to.
Totally. That's a story
Yeah.
for another time, though. But anyways, that
It's a good
was episode
list.
59. Yeah, no, totally good list. Good. We'll put that up on the socials once again, and hopefully, please don't kill me this time. God, I can't believe I lost by that badly for the music one. Jeez,
Yeah.
I thought it'd be closer, or I would win. But anyways, that was episode 50. I'm still sad about that. I know it's episode 59 of the Too Hard to Pass podcast. I'm your co-host, Juan Martinez, and Jacques Slade with the shameless plugs.
Yo. Thank you guys for watching. Hope you enjoyed this episode. Sorry for the drab yellowness of my hotel room. I'm using the camera on my laptop as opposed to my nice fancy camera, so it's not as clean and crisp as it usually is, but it sounds good, which is probably the most important part.
Yep.
That it sounds good and it's not grating to your ears. So thank you guys for dealing with that this episode. As always, if you want to talk to us, shoot us an email at the too hard to pass podcast at gmail.com, too hard to pass podcast at gmail.com. The number 2, not the word 2. With that being said, as always, we appreciate you guys. Thank you for watching / listening, and we'll see you guys next time. Peace.
All right, we out.